can't really put it into words.
It's certainly good for Alaska, for workers, for our economies.
Tremendous news for many, devastating news for many others. As we learned tonight, construction is officially underway for the massive oil drilling development on the North Slope known as the Willow Project. Work is now being done on the North Slope as the Willow Project has officially started, with ConocoPhillips saying today that they've made their final investment decision to move forward. This follows the Biden administration's approval of the project in March and a federal court ruling this week allowing construction to begin after appeals by environmental groups were denied. ConocoPhillips has said that the site would cover about 380 acres and at its peak produce 180,000 barrels of oil per day, generating billions of dollars to the federal government. Alaska Native leaders have had mixed feelings on the project. Many are concerned about the project's effects on Alaska's air, water, and wildlife.
A little bit more heart-wrenching. It's a little like peace taken away, but this is such a significant step that can't really put it into words.
Alaska's congressional delegation in support of the project says this is a win for the economy and energy production.
To advance that is going to be not only good for that company, but certainly good for Alaska, for workers, for our economy. So that is that's a positive development.
ConocoPhillips says the project could create more than 2,500 construction jobs and about 300 long-term positions, with about 600 million barrels of oil across the lifetime of the project. Environmental groups say they'll continue fighting to stop the development. And another major economic development touching Alaska. The Biden administration says they're cracking down on Russian efforts to get around seafood sanctions imposed after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Western countries have banned Russian seafood for more than a year. Now they will also block imports of Russian seafood that are processed in other countries, especially China. A lot of that seafood, it comes from the waters near Alaska. Representative Mary Peltola says that stricter sanctions will help Alaskan families strengthen national security.
For the Alaskan families, the most direct impact has been driving down our prices on our seafood, but it also has national security impacts because Russia is selling their poached fish to China. China's marketing it using slave labor. I think that there is good, solid information that China is using Uyghurs, who are Muslims, and they're basically slaves to the Chinese government.
And Senator Lisa Murkowski also supports today's new sanctions. The senator says today's actions should cut into Russia's ability to pay for its war in Ukraine.
Russia evading the sanctions that we placed on them in March of 2022, and them just going around the back door, sending it through China for processing, and then having that come in, and Putin gets his money to fund the war, and China benefits, and Russia decimates the markets for us.
Senator Dan Sullivan has been asking for tougher sanctions for some time and says the Biden administration's action is overdue and that he had been working for years against allowing Russian seafood into American markets while Russia banned exports from America into their country, calling it unfair.
After the invasion of Ukraine, the Biden administration put sanctions on Russian seafood imports in the United States. That was about a year and a half ago. That was great. It was something I worked with the Biden White House on doing to make this a much more fair situation.
The senator also revealed that Russia circumvented the sanction by using a loophole. They shipped hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Russian seafood to China, where it was processed and then sent to the U.S. market with little or no tariff, calling the action unfair. Senator Sullivan says today's executive order closes the gap that Russia exploited to sell its seafood and that no fish from Russia or any boat that fishes in Russian waters can enter the U.S., even if they go through another country first. And we have an update to a story that we brought you yesterday about a police standoff in downtown Juneau. Police say they found more than $170,000 worth of drugs and $100,000 cash in a home where a standoff happened. closing multiple city streets for hours. 65-year-old Kenneth Kitka of Juneau was taken into custody yesterday. Police and a drug task force say they seized various drugs, cash, and guns. Lieutenant Craig Campbell says the bust was part of a year-long investigation.
He eventually did come out peacefully. It was after we deployed chemical munitions like you saw, and after this time, but there was no violence on his part. It's such an important thing to get people there to try to disrupt some of that flow of drugs into the community.
Kitka was taken to the Lemon Creek Correctional Center on multiple drug charges, misconduct involving weapons, and violating conditions of release. This week, check out our latest edition of In-Depth Alaska. Our investigative producer, David Burnkoff, discusses a recent story we did on the death of Kim Fitka Odamin in Marshall, Alaska. Her family believes she was murdered. Alaska State Troopers say it appears to have been an accidental death. And David expands a bit on the story and has some new information that just came to light this week. Alaska State Troopers say more officers will be on the roads through the end of the new year. Each year, the agency ups their presence on roads during the holiday season, typically from December 18th to January 4th. As always, AST is encouraging people to avoid situations that could get them and others hurt or in trouble.
If you're going to plan on drinking or taking marijuana, have a plan for that. Just have a buddy, have a designated driver, anything other than getting on the road. I mean, it's your safety as well as everyone else that's out there, and it's a really tough thing to live with to have a crash or an accident that you're responsible for.
Troopers released data showing the number of citations they issued during the holiday enforcement period. The numbers you're looking at there range from nearly 300 at the low end to more than 900 this year. Already, troopers say they've issued 45 citations since the 18th as part of that campaign. We also have information on vehicle collisions. The 2020-2021 holiday period has the least amount in the years we looked at 221. Last year had the most, and that stretched time at 287. Troopers have reported 96 vehicle collisions as part of the holiday enforcement so far this year. Up next, on the news at 10, a village in Southwest is still without power. What the city administrator and local government specialists are doing for their community there.